The top 10 richest cities in Europe and why they're so wealthy. It's no secret that Europe has some of the richest cities in the world. While London, Paris, and Rome are well known to be major tourist destinations, they're also incredibly wealthy cities with some of the highest GDPs per capita, gross domestic product, in the world. But why are these cities so rich? In this video, we'll take a look at the top 10 richest cities in Europe and why they're so rich. 1. London, United Kingdom, $8.6 trillion. London is one of the most important financial centers in Europe, if not, in all of the world. The UK's capital hosts dozens of commercial banks, as well as major European institutions such as London Stock Exchange Group, Lloyds Banking Group and HSBC Holdings. London has also become a hub for mergers and acquisitions, with 2014 seeing more than $1 trillion worth of deals take place there for companies around the world. Zurich, Switzerland, $6.3 trillion. Switzerland's largest city is home to the headquarters of some of the world's most powerful companies like UBS AG and Credit Suisse Group, who are two of its biggest employers. Zurich was ranked by Forbes magazine as having the best quality of life among global cities in 2015. 2. Paris, France, $2.9 trillion. The most iconic of all cities, Paris is known around the world for its culture, art, food, fashion and romanticism. Tourism comprises 12% of France's GDP, which contributes to Paris' wealth ranking at number 1. More than 30 million tourists visit Paris each year. Luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior and Hermes have their headquarters here. Paris also has a robust high-tech sector, with Facebook and Microsoft maintaining offices there. Another factor in Paris' huge net worth is the tourism industry, which adds up to 12% of French GDP each year and employs 2% of the workforce as full-time employees. 3. Moscow, Russia, $1.5 trillion. Moscow is by far Russia's richest city. In 2014, it had a GDP of more than $1.5 trillion, which accounted for around 35% of Russia's GDP that year. But why is Moscow so rich? Well, it is an epicenter for finance, with dozens of major banks located there, not to mention hundreds of companies that are listed on global stock exchanges. It also has the second busiest international airport in the world, accounting for about 40% of all air traffic to Asia. And if that wasn't enough, the average price per square meter in Moscow is higher than anywhere else in the world. 4. Frankfurt, Germany, $0.9 trillion. The city of Frankfurt is home to many large European financial companies, including Deutsche Bank, Commerzbank, Allianz, ING Group and more. This contributes to Frankfurt's gross domestic product being $0.9 trillion annually. Of Germany's wealth is held in Frankfurt by institutions such as banks. So why isn't Hamburg number 1? Hamburg has the highest gross domestic product per capita in Germany, but due to its location it only ranks 3rd on the list with a GDP of $230 billion. Zurich, Switzerland, $256 billion. Zurich, Switzerland is an economic powerhouse with a GDP valued at over $256 billion. Despite having only 0.5 million people living there, it ranks 2nd on the list for per capita GDP, which means they must be doing something right. 5. Stockholm, Sweden, $0.6 trillion. Stockholm, Sweden is one of Europe's biggest industrial hubs. It accounts for 18% of Sweden's GDP and 22% of its exports. The city is home to many big Swedish companies such as IKEA, H&M, Ericsson, Volvo Cars and ABB Group. Tourism is also a major industry for Stockholm. It attracted 1.3 million visitors last year alone. As a result, 19% of its workforce is employed in hotels, restaurants or other hospitality-related industries. Oslo, Norway, $0.5 trillion. Oslo has the highest gross domestic product per capita in the world at $73,000 per person annually, making it the wealthiest city on this list by far. Most people know Oslo for its lavish royal palace that sits atop a hill overlooking the fjord. Other tourist attractions include Norway's National Gallery of Art and Vigeland Sculpture Park, which houses over 200 monumental sculptures created by Gustav Vigeland between 1924 and 1943. 6. Rome, Italy, $0.5 trillion. Rome has a strong manufacturing sector, which makes up most of its economy. The city has been undergoing a major economic revival for several years now, which is why it's jumped from 5th place to 1st place on our list of richest cities in Europe. Barcelona, Spain, $0.5 trillion. Manufacturing accounts for 18% of the country's GDP, which means that the country exports around $95 billion worth of goods each year. Paris, France, $0.4 trillion, with more than 3 million people employed in finance, banking and insurance industries combined, this French city has an enormous impact on the world's economy. 7. Oslo, Norway, $0.3 trillion. Most of Norway's wealth comes from its natural resources, which include oil and minerals. In 2013, an estimated $5 billion was invested in a giant mountain of snow that is expected to help provide energy for electric cars. Oslo is also home to the Nobel Peace Prize Museum. This year's Nobel laureates will be celebrated on December 10th at a special ceremony held at City Hall. Norway's contributions to the museum were made by Henrik Ibsen, who donated his manuscripts, Knut Hamsun donated one of his paintings, and Sigrid Undset donated her personal correspondence with Bjørnstjerne Bjørnson. On the 3rd floor of the museum, visitors can explore different exhibits about Peace Prize winners. One display includes an interactive timeline about how World War II impacted Norway and what its people did during wartime to make sure their country remained neutral. 8. Amsterdam, Netherlands, $0.2 trillion. The Netherlands has a well-earned reputation for being one of the wealthiest countries in Europe. A large portion of that wealth is concentrated in Amsterdam, where approximately 2% of residents are millionaires, which seems like quite a small percentage until you consider that it's about half of Amsterdam's total population. The largest source of income for most wealthy people living there is interest earned on investments. Many wealthy Dutch families from before World War II have passed down their fortunes to descendants who still live in the city. A second explanation for why Amsterdam is such an affluent city could be its status as a major tourist destination. Tourists provide much-needed jobs during the peak season, summer, and also spend money when they visit shops, restaurants, and hotels. 9. Madrid, Spain, $0.2 trillion. It's no wonder why Madrid is doing well economically. It has some of the most influential companies on its soil. Telefónica, Santander Group, Repsol, CaixaBank, BBVA and Endesa are all based here. Another reason for Madrid's wealth, more than half of its total land area is made up of parks. That means more green space for residents to enjoy free activities like soccer, tennis and jogging outside. Not to mention the abundance of outdoor dining and fresh produce. The average price per square meter here is $5,907, €5,166. Thanks for watching.